Hello and welcome to the Scratch coding class. In today's video we'll be taking a look at compound gear trains, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and let's get started. So up until this point we have been looking at simple gear trains, and if you didn't check out the video on gears, make sure to do so. So we have an input gear and an output gear. So the input gear, if we turn it, you'll notice that the output gear moves in the opposite direction, as you can see. A compound gear train has more than 2 gears in it. So here's an example of a compound gear train. So we'll say the one on the right is the input gear, and I'll just turn that and you can see what happens. So as you can see, the input and the output are moving in the same direction. However, we got a middle gear called the idler gear, and that is moving to the right. So compound gear trains, you can use them to make the input gear and the output gear move in the same direction. And if we work the other way, so I'm going to turn this around. So this time the large tooth gear is the input. Same thing, as you can see. So the input and output are still moving in the same direction. We are going to take a look at gear ratio for compound gear trains. So for a simple gear train, the gear ratio is teeth on the output divided by teeth on the input. For a compound gear train, what you need to do is you need to divide the gear train into separate parts, and then you need to find the gear ratio for each part, then multiplied the gear ratios together. So here's just an example. So here we have a gear train that we just looked at. So the input has 20 teeth, the idler has 12, the output has 36 teeth. So first of all, we're going to consider the first part, so like the first half of the gear train. So we've got the input 20, the output 12, so gear ratio would be 12 over 20, which is 0.6. Then if we consider the right half, we've got the input, which is the idler gear of 12 teeth, and the output with 36 teeth, then the gear ratio would be 3 in that case. Now we have two gear ratios, we just simply multiply them together and you get a gear ratio of 1.8. Compound gear trains do not have to be used like in a straight line. You can also have them around angled beams, as you can see here. This is an example of a compound gear train. You've got the input, the idler, and the output. So if I spin the input gear, as you can see, the same concept applies. The output gear will turn in the same direction when there's an idler gear in the middle. The gear ratio of this is just 1. The idler gear actually has no effect on gear ratio in this case. Now we're going to look at the main use of compound gear trains, and that is the gear ratio. So just notice on the left we've got a simple gear train. The gear ratio in that case is 3, so speed decreases by a factor of 3 and torque will increase by a factor of 3. And that's one of like the bigger gear ratios you can have with a simple gear train. If we look on the right, we've got a compound gear train. So in this case, we divide the gear train into two parts, find the gear ratio of each part, and then multiply the gear ratios. As you can see, we've got 36 over 12 times 40 over 24 is 5. So speed will decrease by a factor of 5, and then torque will increase by a factor of 5. If you reverse the input and the output, the gear ratio would be a third, so you get more speed out and less torque. And the big use, look at the difference in the gear ratios. 5 gear ratio and the 3 gear ratio, that's quite a big increase. So compound gear trains are used if you want to achieve larger amounts of speed and torque. If you don't need like huge amounts, you can use a simple gear train. Say if you're making like a race car robot and you want it to move as fast as it can, you obviously want to have the lowest gear ratio possible, so you have the max to maximize speed. So I just want to take a look at the gear trains that we calculated the gear ratio for. So this is a simple one. As you can see, quite a lot of speed in the output gear. If we turn it the other way, then you get a lot more torque in the output gear. However, if we use the compound gear train right here, so let's say I turn this 40 tooth one, look at the speed that output gear is going at, because that has a gear ratio of 1 over 5. If we turn it this way, we get much more torque. As you can see, a big reduction in speed. So a few more things to add. First of all, this gear train, say we turn the 40 tooth gear right here, then to calculate gear ratio, we use this grey gear and would not use the black one. Even though there are like 2 idler gears in this one, the grey one, is connected to the input gear. And then the other side, we use this black one because that's connected to the output gear. So you can have gear trains with multiple idler gears, but the same concept applies. You just need to look at which 2 gears are connected, and then you use them to calculate the gear ratio. The final point I want to make with compound gear trains is look, there's a big increase and decrease in gear ratio you can do, and if you add more gears you can also do that. But the problem is, say you want to make a compound gear train of like 10 gears, 20 gears, you're not going to have enough torque to make the gears move. So you don't want to make compound gear trains far too long. Just keep them to a reasonable length, and then you should hopefully get the optimal gear ratio for the increase in speed and torque. So that is everything for today's video in the Scratch coding class. Compound gear trains are definitely slightly more advanced, and you do see them a lot more in more advanced robots than easier robots, but just wanted to go over them in this video. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.